Hello and welcome to marketing91.com. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on 4 pillars of branding. Let's start with the introduction. 4 pillars of branding, also known as Young and Rubicam's Brand Asset Valuator model or the Power Grid. Brand Asset Valuator originally was developed by Young and Rubicam and currently supervised and expanded by BAV Consulting. The BAV model illustrates how brands evolve, how they could land in trouble, and how they recover from the damage. BAV studies brands on 4 fundamental measures of equity. Since 1993, BAV has conducted research consulting almost 800,000 customers in 51 countries, allowing BAV to truly follow the global brand trends. Moving on to the 4 pillars of branding in this model. There are 4 elements of brand health in BAV. Each pillar is acquired from various measures that link different aspects of the customer's brand perception. Let's understand these pillars first. The 4 pillars track down the progression of a brand's development. The first pillar, energize differentiation. It measures the extent to which a brand creates differentiation from the rest. It is an important condition to ensure a profitable brand building. Second, the brand has to be relevant. It measures the relevance of the brand with regards to consumers and the overall scope of the brand's potential franchise or penetration. Long things short, it measures the breadth of a brand's appeal. Third, esteem. It measures how much a brand is appreciated and respected. A good brand esteem results to increased customer loyalty. And finally, knowledge. It measures to what degrees consumers are familiar with the brand. It is basically related to how noticeable a brand is. So these are the 4 pillars on which brands become successful. If all the pillars are high or at the same level, that means the brand is a very successful brand. Now before we get to the model, let's understand the relationship among the 4 pillars. In the first case, let's understand the relationship between energized differentiation and relevance. On the left, when energized differentiation is greater than relevance, the brand stands out and receives recognition in the market. It now shows the potential to direct the energy into developing meaningfulness for consumers by driving relevance. Examples in this case, Tesla, Lindt, TikTok, and American Express. But if you reverse the situation, if the brand is more relevant than differentiated, it suggests commoditization. It means that the brand is relevant within the life of consumers, but it is seen as interchangeable with other brands that fall in the same category. That means one can conclude that consumers will not go out of their comfort zone for this brand and may not remain loyal to it. For instance, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. If at a store a Coca-Cola is not available, typically customers would go for Pepsi. That means there is not much differentiation left between Pepsi and Coca-Cola, but it is still relevant for the customers. Same is the case for Visa and MasterCard. So the point to be noted here is that the brand needs to be differentiated and relevant at the same level. But if there is a mismatch between them, the following 2 scenarios arise. Same way, now let's look at the relationship among the pillar of brand esteem and knowledge. On the left, when the brand esteem is greater than its knowledge. This shows that customers find the brand appealing so far and after its introduction to the market are willing to know more about the same, suggesting great potential for growth. Example, Instagram, Harley-Davidson, Victoria's Secret, and Tesla. But on the other hand, if brand knowledge is greater than esteem, that means the customers know it all. The consumers here feel that they know enough about the brand and are not interested in getting to know it any further. Example in this case is Facebook becoming stagnant, BlackBerry's downfall, and Nokia. People do have knowledge about these brands, but they do not have the same kind of esteem that they had when the brands were at their peak. So now since we know the relationship among the pillars, let's get to the model. As stated earlier, 4 pillars of branding, also known as a BAV model and the Power Grid. Brand Asset Valuator integrates 2 macro dimensions into a visual diagrammatic representation known as the Power Grid. The 2 dimensions are brand strength, which marks energized differentiation and relevance together, and the other one is brand stature that marks esteem and knowledge. Brand strength is on the y-axis and brand stature is on the x-axis. The Power Grid represents the different stages a brand undergoes during development in successive quadrants. So there are 4 quadrants. Typically, the brands which get introduced in the market start from the bottom left quadrant, move up to the top left quadrant, then to the right, and then finally to the bottom right quadrant where they either become a commodity or the brands are eroded. So we will now track the journey of a brand in all these 4 quadrants. Let's start with the bottom left quadrant. Brands generally come to life in this lower left quadrant where they first fight to develop uniqueness and serve a purpose of need. That is, make relevant differentiation and establish the reason for being. A brand needs to show its differentiation in comparison from other brands. The movement from there is often towards the upward direction into the top left quadrant, which is top left quadrant. In this quadrant, brands have a significant differentiation and have started to gain relevance. Example, Under Armour and Tesla. According to leading brands that are in the next upper right quadrant, new potential competitors could possibly emerge from this quadrant. So now, since we have seen these two quadrants, now let's move on to the upper right quadrant, where we have two sets of players, leaders and mass appeal. Let's start with the leadership ones. These score high on all four pillars. The leadership quadrant is dominated by brand leaders, those companies that have high levels of both brand strength and brand stature. As you can see, this quadrant, brand strength is also on a higher side and brand stature is also on a higher side. Brands that are old or relatively new can fall in this quadrant. That means brand leadership is a function of the pillar measures and not of the longevity of the brand's existence. When properly managed, a brand can build and maintain leadership position for an indefinite time. Examples of new brands include Instagram, YouTube, OnePlus, Google Map, Alibaba, Amazon, Google, Apple and TikTok. Whereas older brands which are still maintaining leadership are Gillette, Johnson & Johnson, MAC Cosmetics, Red Bull, Mercedes, Nike, Avion, Walmart and Levi's. These are leadership brands. Now moving on to mass market brands in the same quadrant. Now they score high on three pillars except for the pillar of differentiation, and they start to decline later on into the bottom right quadrant. A decline in brand equity is not inevitable. Brands for whom differentiation has declined can be seen in this very quadrant. Brands whose strength has started to fall below the level of their stature display the first signs of weakness. Examples of brands which have lacked differentiation are Facebook, Snapchat and Yahoo. And finally, the bottom right quadrant. In this quadrant, brands fail to maintain their brand strength, that is their relevance and differentiation, and begin to fade out and move down into the bottom right quadrant. These brands become inadequate not in front of just the existing competitors, but also to the negative effects of discount price brands. Example in this case are BlackBerry and Nokia. So that's it folks. This brings an end to the topic on 4 pillars of branding. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video. If you have liked the video, do subscribe to our channel. If you want to view these videos in an organized manner, you can visit freecourses.net, where all our videos are arranged in the form of courses. Thank you and see you in the next video.